Hi. In this video I'm going to show you how to play video games with one hand. And I did teach myself this because when I started playing video games, that's just the way I had to learn it. So yeah, and I'm going to be playing on my Xbox 360, and I chose to play Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Alright, so let's get started. Here's the controller for an Xbox 360. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I hold it with one hand. So, you want to put your fingers along the top of the controller, and then put your thumb on the bottom of the controller, like that. So it looks like that, or something like that. Okay, and now I will show you how you rest the controller to where it has better support, so your arm doesn't get tired as easy, or so you don't drop it. Alright, so the first way you can support the controller if you're laying down is put it against your stomach like that, but just have these parts at the bottom here touch your stomach, but let the back of the controller just face out in front of you to where it looks like that. And then you hold it like I showed you earlier, and you play that way, and it provides support on the bottom, and then you hold it like that so it'll stay in the place you want it to stay in. And the second way is if you're sitting down, you can put the controller on your legs like that and hold it like that again, and then like I said earlier, it'll have support on the bottom, and you're holding it so it'll stay in place that way too. Alright, and this third way also applies if you're sitting down, but instead of having it rest against your leg on the bottom, you lay the back down to where it touches your leg like that, and then you hold it like that still. This fourth way applies if you're standing up. You put the bottom of the controller against your stomach like that, and then you hold it like I showed you earlier, and that works too. And this fifth and final way I want to show you is you put the controller on your other arm like that, and then hold it like I showed you earlier, and that works too. Alright, now that I've shown you how to properly support the controller and how to hold it, let's talk about what fingers and thumb you use for what buttons. So you're going to use your fingers for the buttons and your thumb and your palm for the analog sticks. One exception for using your finger when you're using an analog stick is if you have to use both of them at the same time. Then you would use your palm or thumb for one of the analog sticks and your finger for the other. But hold it like I showed you earlier. Then if you're moving around or whatever you're doing in the game that requires the left analog stick, you can do that. Just use that part of your hand, or you can use your thumb like that, the bottom of your thumb. And if you need to use both analog sticks, you kind of just do that, you use this finger for the right one and your palm or your thumb for the left one. Then, or if you're just using this analog stick, you would move it like I showed you and use this finger for these buttons, and use these fingers, these other three fingers for these buttons in the back. Or if you need to hit more than one of these buttons at a time, you could use these two fingers and use the other two for the back buttons. And then if you need to pause the game, but you're going to play up right to the last second before you pause it, like say you're doing something like this, you can swap that finger in there and hit it, or you can do that really quick. Alright, so I think I have almost everything, and I really don't use this a lot, But I guess if you had to, let's say you were using these buttons while you needed to use this, you could use your thumb for that and your fingers for that, or if you were using these buttons while you're using that, you'd go like that and use your thumb. Or if you were using that and that, you could use this finger for the analog stick and your thumb for this. Alright, and one last thing is if you're going to use the back button while you're playing. So let's say you're doing that, you reach this finger back and hit it. Alright, so now you're going to get to see me play. Let's see how these steps work out. So I picked Batman to play as, fighting against Superman.